Hi everybody, how are you today? Paula here. Welcome back to my kitchen and welcome back to my channel, The Flavorful Home. Welcome to a new episode of The Flavor of the Day. If you're new, I hope you'll visit often, consider subscribing, and see all the things that go on here on my channel. Today I am making a very easy recipe. It is a staple if you love Mexican food and do a lot of cooking. My kids love Mexican food, so I make this often. What is it? Enchilada sauce. I promise you, you will not buy it from a can ever again. You know something else? There's no tomato sauce in enchilada sauce. A lot of people don't realize that. So let's gather up our ingredients and get going. Come on. Alrighty, so what goes into homemade enchilada sauce? You need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You need 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You need a quarter of a cup, and I mix this all together already. A quarter a cup of chili powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of ground cumin, a quarter teaspoon of dried oregano, and I used the Mexican oregano. You need 2 cups of broth. It could be chicken broth or vegetable broth. And we're going to make a roux with the oil and the flour. So let's move to the oven. Alrighty, my heat is medium high. This is my nuclear burner, so I don't let it get full blast. Pour your oil in. And a roux is just the making of a paste with some form of fat with flour. You see it a lot in Cajun cooking, Creole cooking, where they really make their roux deep chocolatey brown. And that's just by cooking it low and letting it brown up really well. Just combine that. And my little whisk is one of those non-stick friendly whisks because it's coated, so it's not metal scratching the pan. You just get it nice and combined. You're trying to take the raw flavor out of the flour. You don't want that flour to have that taste. And you're only going to do this about a minute. And then you're going to add your seasonings so that they're getting mixed in there. And you're giving them a little bit of a toast for about a minute. And you just whisk that all up. Now the smell already is just so nice. When you toast up seasonings, it just gives it such another level of flavor. And after a minute, you gradually add your broth. Let's all right, I like to get a little bit in there and kind of get it melded together. And I'm going to lower it. Like I said, this burner is my hottie hot one. and it gets up there. You see how thick it is already? And let's go with the rest. Nice and easy. Let it get broken down here so that it blends well. I did not add my salt yet. The salt is, they call for fine sea salt to taste. Use the salt that you have in your house. I don't like people to feel like they have to run out to get a special salt. And always start with a light hand when you're salting, because you can't take it out. I say it all the time. Start with less. You could always add more. I'm actually going to use my pink Himalayan salt. And I'll just start there. And yes, I still have more broth. And we want to just keep going. Get it as smooth as you can. And this you can also freeze. You could parcel it out. You know, if you're not using a large amount of it, freeze it up and put it in a freezer bag. If you have a food saver, freeze it in a square container and then use your food saver to freeze it airtight. If you don't, you can do the same thing and just pop it into a freezer bag and get as much of the air out as you can. The smell is, I wish there was such a thing as smell-o-vision. I really do, because it is such a rich, lovely aroma. All right, that is, I think it's fair to say that the lumps are out. And you want to simmer it. And it's almost like a tomato sauce. It's not a gravy. And I am going to taste it for salty seasoning. Oh, boy, that's good. And that's it, my friends. That's just how easy homemade enchilada sauce is. Lower it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pop it over to this burner here because it has to simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to move it over. And when it's all finished, we'll come back. Alrighty, so it's simmered for 10 minutes and it has thickened some. You'll see how you can kind of draw that line through the pan. And now I will just put it in a bowl and keep it there till I'm ready to use it for dinner. It has a wonderful, rich aroma. Let me turn you this way. Here's the bowl that it's going to go in. It's the bowl that was holding my seasonings. And we'll just pour it in. I am making copycat Taco Bell Mexican pizza for dinner. And so that's why I needed the enchilada sauce. It has such a gorgeous brick red color. I won't even need all of this. I think the recipe only called for maybe half a cup. But look at that. It almost looks like mole. But look at that beautiful color. Absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful. How is that? Not much easier. The only thing easier is opening a can, but it never tastes as good. Just remember, salt content varies by the broth you choose to use. That's why I always say start light with your salt and taste as you go along. Words of wisdom for all your cooking. That is really important because there's nothing worse than something that is too salty after you spent your time putting it together. It just destroys a dish. So be careful with that. I hope you enjoyed it. Check the description box. I'll put a link to the recipe. Remember, you could freeze what you don't use. I know I won't need all of that, so I definitely will be putting it into smaller servings and freezing. Well, I hope you come back and visit again. I hope you have a good rest of the week. Go create something wonderful. Till next time. Bye-bye now.